All right. Yeah. Great. Welcome everybody to the Lord Meher book reading. Happy New Year to everybody who's here with us today on Zoom and those who will be joining us later. Thank you for joining in. And we have Diana who's going to start the reading today. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I'll just start by saying we're in the year 1941.
And we're on page 2197.
Thank you. Hindu and Rusi Pop Irani had been instructed at Ahmednagar to go to Quetta and arrange living accommodations for Baba and the group. Hindu and Rusi came to Jaipur on the 22nd of February 1941, and the following morning had a long discussion with Baba about the arrangements. Rusi Pop was a former resident of Quetta, and during the 1920s, Baba had stayed at his house 3 times. Following Baba's advice, Rusi and his family had left Quetta and were now residing in Ahmednagar. Rusi's daughter Katie had joined the women Mandali on the Blue Bus tour, and another daughter, Gaur, was studying to be a doctor in Bombay. During her vacations, Gaur would eagerly come and stay with Baba, as she too had tasted wine and longed for more. For his work, Baba indicated that en route to Quetta, he wanted to cross the Indus River and its 5 tributaries. Plans were chalked out to travel this way, although it was a precarious route, infested with thieves and dacoits. Where his work was concerned, no thought of safety was considered, Age noted. Besides, where is the question of safety for one who has the whole universe in the palm of his hand? As directed, taking the Muskchudi Baba with them, Baidul, Gustaji, Krishna, Venkoba Rao, and Vishnu traveled to Quetta by train, preceding Baba's group. Chanji also left by train for Agra with Memo and Jalbai. Baba left in Elizabeth's Buick with Mara and 5 more women at 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning, the 25th of February, 1941. The others followed in the blue bus. The bus was completely packed. 28 persons squeezed into seats designed for 14. Erich was driving, and Nilu, and later Jalbai, sat next to him in the front seat. We have a footnote.
Neelu was again to serve as assistant mechanic. You can continue reading here.
Reaching Agra at noon that day, they stopped at a dak bungalow. Baba directed Erich and Nilu to unload all the bedding from the top of the bus, and throughout the journey they had to do this task. After settling in, Baba sent Erich out to find musts, while Nilu and Jalbai did the marketing. In the afternoon, after a lunch of fried potatoes, bread, butter, and chutney brought from Jabalpur, Baba took the women to the Taj Mahal, the Agra Fort, and other places of interest. While at the Taj Mahal, Baba was informed about a saintly old woman who lived in a deserted horse stable not far away. Baba was guided there by a gardener at the Taj Mahal. When Baba and the men approached the stable, they heard a wild cry like a roaring of a tiger. And when they entered the stable, they found the woman. She was pacing back and forth, roaring in this extraordinary fashion. And when Baba approached her, she stopped. She beckoned to Baba with respect, and Baba gestured to Erich to ask her if she was happy to see him. She replied that she was truly very happy. Although old, she was a large, strong woman, both of her arms covered with bangles, and she had a bright, attractive face. Baba remarked she was a very high Mastani and referred to her as Mastani Mai. Later that evening, Erich brought a must with whom Baba worked at night. Very early the next morning, Baba bathed and clothed another must in Agra. Erich and Nilu were kept so busy with the must work they could hardly attend to servicing the old bus. Baba drove in Elizabeth's car with his mother Memo, Margaret, Jalbai, Nilu, and Chanji to see Fatehpur Sikri after breakfast on the 26th, and then returned to Agra at 9:30 a.m. It was decided that Chanji should escort Memo and Jalbai to Delhi by train that afternoon. Baba dropped them at the station in Elizabeth's car and then went out to contact musts with Erich. Baba woke everyone else very early at 3:30 a.m. on the 27th of February, and Nilu and Erich hurried to tie the bedding and baggage on top. At 5:45, they left Agra for Delhi, a distance of 127 miles. Elizabeth's car drove much faster at 60 miles per hour and outdistanced the old Chevrolet bus, which could only go 40 miles per hour at top speed. The bus's tires were old, and along the way they had 3 blowouts. Baba arrived in Delhi that morning at 10 o'clock and checked into the Regal Hotel, where they were to stay for 3 days. When the bus had still not shown up by noon, he drove back and found them fixing yet another puncture. They explained the problem of worn-out tires, but Baba dismissed it, demanding that Erich drive faster next time. As soon as they arrived in Delhi, Baba sent Erich in search of musts. He was only able to find one near the Jama Masjid. Baba contacted the man in the evening. On the 28th, he took the women to the Qutub Minar, the tomb of Humayun, and the Hindu temple of Lakshmi Narayan. Early Sunday morning, the 2nd of March, 1941, Baba sent Memo and Jalbai back to Pune by train with Chanji, and the rest of the group started for Jalandhar, 215 miles ahead. Before arriving at Ambala at noon, the bus had another flat tire, and Baba had to wait for it to catch up. At Ambala, Baba sent Erich to bring musts. Despite searching for an hour, not one was found. Baba was displeased and left for Jalandhar at 2 that afternoon. Baba instructed Erich to drive at 45 miles per hour, which Erich tried to do despite the heavy load and consignment of passengers. But the tires kept getting punctured, causing irksome delays. Baba became more and more upset. 20 miles from Ambala, the blue bus had another flat, and Baba went ahead in Elizabeth's car to contact a must 80 miles from the Sirhind railway station. Because of all the delays, the must was not there when Baba arrived. He had left just minutes before. Baba expressed his disappointment. Slowly, the bus lumbered into Ludhiana at 4 that afternoon. Baba took Erich out to look for musts in Atanga, and Baba was pleased to be able to contact and feed one. They managed to repair one of the tires on the bus before departing at 7:30 that evening and drove 50 miles to Jalandhar arriving at midnight. On the morning of the 3rd, they left at 5:30 for Lahore, 87 miles away. Again, punctures and delays were the order of the day. Nilu and Erich pleaded for new tires and tubes, but for his own reasons, Baba would not permit it. They were forced to make do. Besides the poor condition of the tires and tubes, the bus had 2 wheels on one side at the rear and only one on the other, causing it to be very awkward to maneuver. They had to stop at Amritsar for 2 hours because of punctures. And we have a footnote.
Um, Amritsar is the sacred city of Guru Nanak, uh, from who was alive from 1469 to 1539. He was a Hindu perfect master who founded the Sikhs. The Golden Temple is located here. Yes, continue, please.
While Nilu oversaw the repairs, Baba and Erich went out in search of musts. Afterwards, all left for Lahore. Baba's car arrived at 11:30 a.m. and the bus 3.5 hours later. They stayed at the Braganza Hotel. Erich located, excuse me, Erich located 2 musts in Lahore, whom he brought back to Baba. One was an old Mastani. Baba had his contact with them as well as with 3 other musts.
Thank you. Marvin, would you like to read next?
On hearing their repeated entreaties, Baba at last gave in and allowed Nilu and Erich to buy 1 new tube and 1 new tire, which were fitted to the bus. While in Lahore, Baba took the women to see Shalimar Gardens and Narkali Bazaar and other sites in the city. On the morning of Wednesday, 5th March 1941, they left Lahore for Montgomery, 102 miles away. After only 40 miles, the bus broke down again, and Baba was quite peeved. He wanted to contact a high must in Pakpatan, and so ordered Nilu into the front seat of Elizabeth's car with him and drove off. 4 of the women were in the back seat, curtained off. Erich was left to manage alone and told to meet them in Montgomery. Baba's car arrived at 11 o'clock. After leaving the women at the PWD bungalow, Baba, Nilu, and Elizabeth drove to contact the must 30 miles away in Pakpatan, near the tomb of the perfect master Baba Farid Shakar Ganj. The unnamed must had a tall, stout physique. Later in the evening, I need you to scroll a little, Baba contacted a young Mastani of 18 in a squalid shack where she was said to have been living for the past 12 years. The girl had been God intoxicated since age 6. At night, again Nilu and Erich besieged Baba to purchase 4 new tires and tubes. Again, Baba denied their request. On the morning of the 6th, they left Montgomery for Multan, 137 miles away. Baba ordered Erich to drive faster, at least 45 miles per hour. Nilu listened in silent trepidation. They had barely gone 40 miles when the bus suffered yet another puncture, which Erich and Nilu tried to mend. Baba was waiting ahead in the Buick, and when the bus caught up with him, he took Nilu in the car to contact musts in Multan, which he seemed anxious to reach. Erich was left alone for the second time to mend the tire by himself. Baba's car reached Multan at 11, due to Baba constantly urging Elizabeth, drive faster. 70 miles per hour may not seem much on modern highways, but it is a breakneck speed on the rough, often unpaved roads of India at the time, where at any moment a stray animal or villager might wander across. Baba contacted one must and one Mastani in Multan. The bus arrived late in the afternoon, amazingly with only one puncture along the way. Erich and Neela were sent into the town to hunt musts. Erich was also to bring a few boys, and Baba selected one to join them on the pretext that the boy would be taught to operate a movie projector and get a job at the Sarosh Cinema in Ahmednagar. But Baba had a hidden reason for the boy he chose. In Multan, at last, with much unwillingness, Baba allowed Erich and Neela to purchase 2 new tires and tubes. The road from Multan to Quetta was notorious for its highway robberies. Even though it was infested with mountain brigands, Baba chose to go that way, in spite of the presence of the women. They left at 7 a.m. on 7 March for the town of Khar, a distance of 110 miles. You want to read the footnote, Mona?
Yeah. Khar is also known as Feet Monroe. Yeah, continue.
After 15 miles, they came to a railway bridge. As Erich took the bus across at a crawl, the wooden planks of the bridge heaved and rattled under the weight of the 5-ton load. The bridge began tilting. Neela was terrified. It was pouring down rain and the roads were very bad. I had to cross 5 more bridges, and the last one, after Muzaffargarh across the Indus, was the longest and proved to be the most treacherous. The toll keeper said he would not be responsible for any mishap, since the bridge was built to support vehicles of not more than 2.5 tons. He allowed them to pass only after their most vigorous protests. The bridge groaned and rattled as the blue bus followed the car across. The women inside were loudly repeating Baba's name. Behind them, some of the wooden planks cracked into pieces and went flying off into the air. After they crossed, all shouted Baba's name and thanks. They were all perspiring despite the cold, and they realized that, were it not for Baba's vigilant Nazar as he watched from the other side, everyone in the bus would have gone tumbling off the bridge to their deaths in the Indus River. The boy, whom Baba had brought from Multan, was still with him in the car and had no idea who the friendly, silent stranger was. The boy was singing to himself, but the women started singing, Sadhguru Meher Baba Ki Jai. He realized that he was in the presence of someone great.
Thank you, Marvin. Rosalie, would you read next?
They reached the town of Daragasi Khan at 10:30 and filled the tanks with gas. In the meantime, Baba went with Elizabeth to the post office to send a telegram to America. On the drive there, the Buick got stuck in a stretch of mud and had to be pulled out with another car and 10 people pushing. The local folk of Daragasi Khan warned them about the dangers of traveling to Quetta by this route. The people said that even the military were hesitant to travel by this road because of bandits. And that route was taken only with the greatest precaution. Baba was determined, however, and they drove on toward the mountains. It continued to rain throughout the day as they proceeded toward Khar along the narrow, tortuous roads that wound up the steep mountain and around sharp curves. The area was so desolate and wild, there was actually no sign of human life along the entire drive. At two places, the car and bus got stuck in the mud and were freed only when everyone got out and pushed. They reached the town of Carr at 5 in the evening and settled in at the dock bungalow on top of a mountain for 2 days. At Carr, Baba dictated a continuation of his last circulated message given in Jaipur. He stated, "I will speak on the 1st of August, 1941, the divine word to myself and in myself, the word of the will of God that will begin the resurrection of the dead world and start the general adjustment of the world. The speaking to myself operation will continue until the 15th of February, 1942. The day that I will publicly and universally speak, the day that my world manifestation will come to full expression, the day that the 6 months self-speaking operation will bring out the unfoldment of the spiritual revival, and the day that the disciples of my circle will realize the truth. My present seclusion will continue until April 15th, but from April 15th, 1941 to February 15th, 1942, my seclusion will be more absolute." The group left Carr on the 10th at 7:20 a.m. for Lorelei, a distance of over 130 miles. The whole way was, they left at 11:30 a.m. with guards riding on each side of the car and strong Baluchi soldiers with guns in hand riding on top of the bus. The bus got stuck along the way and was pulled out by Elizabeth's car. They reached Lorelei at 6:45 that evening and stayed in the dock bungalow. There in Lorelei, the boy who had been accompanying them was identified as the son of a vicious dacoy. He had begun giving them trouble, so Baba sent the boy back to Multan. Baba's reason for bringing him was now revealed. The dacoys had not attacked them, knowing the boy was traveling with them. Leaving Lorelei on the morning of Tuesday, 11 March, 1941, without any guards, they reached Quetta at 5 o'clock in the evening. For Baba's accommodation, Rusi Pop had rented Abdul Wahid's bungalow just opposite the Persian consulate. As soon as Baba arrived, he plunged into his must work and remained in seclusion, not seeing anyone. 3 days after they arrived, Baba sent Erich back to Bangalore, and Baidul, Gustaji, Krishna, Nilu, Venkoba, Rao, and Vishnu remained with him. Vishnu would do the marketing while Baidul, Krishna, and Venkoba looked for must. Whenever Baba would actually go out to contact the must, Baidu would always be with him. Krishna and Venkoba would keep night watch by Baba's side. Soon after Baba's arrival in Quetta, Pilamai arrived from Karachi and was permitted to stay for a week. Nilu had no faith in must and, from a medical point of view, considered them to be innocent madmen. But one day he saw that Chati Baba had sat on a block of ice throughout the night and had not left his seat despite a freezing storm outside. Nilu had spent the night in his bed, huddled under 4 woolen blankets and wearing his overcoat. Yet still he was cold. The sight of Chati Baba sitting naked in the intense cold of Quetta and in a completely happy mood profoundly impressed Nilu. His questioning mind could not find a satisfactory answer to such a wondrous sight, and he was then fully convinced that the must was not an ordinary man. During Baba's month-long stay in Quetta, Chati Baba would not stay indoors in his room, but would roam about all night outside in the cold, inclement weather. He remained healthy, but more amazing, he continued his daily bath of 100 bucketfuls of ice cold water.
Thank you, Rosalie. Eva, could you read next?
Sure. One day, Baba told Krishna to go ask Chati Baba whether he wanted a bath. Krishna did so, and at first Chati Baba laughed, but then agreed. Baba came and began bathing him. During the bath, Baba gestured to Krishna to ask Chati Baba whether he felt cold. Krishna asked him, and he said, "Cold? I'm on fire. I'm burning up." Krishna looked puzzled and asked, "You're having a cold bath, yet you feel that you are burning?" Chati Baba nodded toward Baba and said, "This fire is burning me." Baba wished to give Chati Baba a bath every morning at 6 a.m. Krishna would prepare kanji, cream of wheat, and an omelet for the must breakfast and keep it ready so that he could be fed immediately after his bath. On one occasion, Baba wanted the bath water to be very hot. That morning, Krishna was late, but by only 10 minutes. Angrily, Baba knocked loudly on his door and demanded that he hurry up. Baba went to the other men and complained, "Krishna is eating and sleeping like a pig." Sending for Gustaji, he gestured to him, "I am so upset. I cannot forgive Krishna for his mistake. You'd better forgive him." Gustaji replied with hand signs, "If you cannot forgive him, Baba, how can I?" Addressing Krishna, Baba scolded, "Why are you always so careless? I am paying you 10 rupees per month, besides feeding you and sending money to your mother. And still, you don't do your duty properly. If you accept wages, then you must work faithfully and be honest." Krishna snapped back, "Do you think I am staying with you for money? Then why do you take payment from me? But be warned, to do your work without compensation, like the mandali, will be still more troublesome. It requires exactitude. Only he whose head is ever bowed at my feet can work like that. You are hopeless, useless. It is better you go away. If you think that I am here for wages, then I will leave. Where will you go? Anywhere. I will find work." Had you any love for me, you wouldn't talk like this, Baba said, and left the room. Krishna felt terrible and decided to leave Baba. When he took one step toward the door, Chadi Baba began laughing loudly. Krishna asked the must, "Why are you laughing? Where are you going?" Peeved, Krishna replied tersely, "I'm going somewhere. What difference does it make to you?" The must then declared, "Go anywhere in the world you like. Wherever you go, he will be there. There is no place where he is not." Krishna opened the door. Baba was standing outside. Krishna told Baba that he was leaving him. Baba replied, "Fine, but do one thing first. Give Chadi Baba his breakfast. When he finishes, then you may go." Krishna agreed, but by the time the must finished eating, Krishna's temper had cooled. Baba said, "Now go." "I would like to stay," said Krishna. Echoing Chadi Baba's words, Baba said, "Go anywhere, but I will always be with you. I am in you and throughout the world. Even if you leave me, you will come again and be with me in your next birth. If you want to stay, stay, but stay for me and not for the self." And thus Baba forgave him. One day, Baba sent Elizabeth to the railway station in Quetta on an errand. On the platform, she saw a large black spaniel who began following her. Elizabeth, always drawn to a wayward animal, did not know what to do. On inquiry, she learned that the dog's owner had abandoned him and gone away. The thought came to her that Baba had sent her to the station only for this dog, and so she took it back. Baba was happy to have it. He named it Foundy and fed it himself for a few days. Once in Quetta, while Kitty was in the courtyard drawing water from the well, Baba passed her, and as he did so, he struck her on the back. She thought nothing of it and went on pulling the rope to raise the pail. Later, Baba sent for her and asked, "Did you feel hurt that I struck you as I passed by the well?" "No, Baba," she said. "I thought nothing about it." Baba explained, "There are times when the work on the other planes does not go quite right, and sometimes I pass on part of the burden by striking someone. One is extremely fortunate if I do occasionally throw my mood on them." Rustam and Franny's younger son, Django, had been staying with Baba practically since he was born. Khorshid had been given the responsibility of looking after the infant. And because of her charge, whenever they would stop somewhere, she would always demand more space for herself and the child. This constantly caused a clash between her and Rano, who was in charge of the luggage space and seating arrangements. In Quetta, too, Khorshid asked Rano for more space, and Rano ignored her. Baba then criticized Rano. "Why didn't you tell Khorshid she cannot take up so much room?" What is the use in quarreling when she does not listen? Rano replied. Baba cracked. Because she has Jang U with her, she fights. Jang in the vernacular means to fight. On Saturday, 15 March 1941, Baba discussed with Norina, Nadine, and Elizabeth disseminating his message in America, and with Margaret and Irene doing the same work in Europe. The next day, Baba told them, "You must come back from the West, if alive, before I speak. Spirituality says life and body are zero. So if we spiritualists don't die, then the materialists must never die. Yet they are dying for their country. You all must die too, or you ought to have died long ago. So you all must really die soon. Margaret and Irene will have plenty of opportunities to die if they do as I instruct, but with no hesitation. So be ready to go and be prepared to stay." On the 17th, Baba talked of George Bernard Shaw. What he said is not recorded, and also commented on the state of war. They do not know that no one will win and no one will be defeated. It will be quite a new third result. England will suffer very much. India will be in a mess. Russia holds the key. She is very clever. Russia sides with all and none, and thus appears so aloof. The English barber, Don, hopes to be posted in the IMS, Indian Medical Service, in either Bangalore, Pune, or Ahmednagar. He feels miserable to be away from me, but he will have to go. It is the law, and I have assured him he won't leave India. Roosevelt's speech means war. America will play a very great part in the battle of humanity in the future. India has over 700 communities and castes, and so it is very difficult for India. Norina asked, "Won't all this take a long time to end?" Baba answered, spelling out, "In 1 second, thousands died in Quetta earthquake. So we have many seconds to work in. If all of a sudden Hitler dies, Mussolini is killed, Stalin has heart failure, and their followers are fed up, it doesn't take much time." And footnote.
Joseph Stalin was the head of the Russian government. Thank you, Eva. Ralph, would you read next?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Seclusion. People would prefer Germany and Italy to Japan. Japan is like a snake. If India had unity, she would crush Japan. For all parties hate Japan. India is unanimous in its hatred of Japan, for Japan. India will get bombed. by not one, but millions. At least troops going abroad leave marvelous dogs behind, such as Foundy. Tanji arrived in Quetta to see Baba on 22 March and showed Baba some recent critical articles about him, which had appeared in the Gujarati newspapers, most likely written by Colonel Arani and Venkatapa. You want to say that word, Mona? That name?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
say it?
just
I'd like to hear it.
sure. I'm just trying to figure out where it is. Just
Okay.
can you just give me a hint which line it is?
Then third line from the top,
Yeah,
on the right, on the right.
I got it. Venkata Pataya.
Venkatapataya. Chanji no, Colonel Rani and Venkata, the Bangalore attorney. That's who he is. Baba directed Chanji to ignore the inflammatory articles and keep quiet. Shortly thereafter, Chanji was sent to Karachi with Pilamai to arrange for Norina and Deshmukh to give public lectures there. He had already traveled 1,200 miles to see Baba, but with hardly any rest after their meeting, he was asked to journey another 700 miles the same day. Baba was working with Chati Baba several times a day. Meanwhile, as much as they tried, Baidul and Rusipap failed to bring a single must to Baba's bungalow. So Baba had to go out to contact them and would bathe, clothe, and feed the musts where they were on the streets or in hovels. On the 25th, as Baidul was trying to persuade a particular must in Quetta to come with him to see Baba, the must blurted out, "I won't go. My boat will be drowned in that ocean." This must was Nadir Ali Shah, the spiritual charge man of Quetta, who lived outside in a tent, even in the coldest of winters. Baba did not contact him in person, but circled round his tent in a car. Baba held separate meetings with the men and women Mandali on the 25th, and it was decided to leave Quetta as soon as possible. But then half the women were ill due to the cold climate, and the bungalow was too small for such a large group. Chanji was wired at Karachi to look for suitable accommodation there. After a few days, Chanji informed Baba that he was unable to find any such place. Pilamai had been longing to see Baba and have him near her. She was very disappointed. That same place, that someplace for the group could not be found. Baba sent her a telegram on 1 April calling her to Quetta, and she came there for a day. Baba. Wow. Baba was in seclusion and not permitting public darshan. But people were anxious to know more about him. Norina and Deshmukh went to Karachi to give 3 lectures there on 11, 16, and 17 April. And Jamshed Mehta arranged another program on the 20th, Meher Baba, which nearly 1,200 people attended. From Karachi, Norina and Deshmukh went to Sukkur, 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 where on the 22nd they delivered another lecture on the Master. From Tuesday, 1 April 1941, Baba began another fast of 4 weeks. For the first 14 days, to remain only on fruit. For the next 7 days, on 1 cup of tea 3 times a day. And for the last 7 days, to remain only on water. Because of the unavailability of accommodation in Karachi, Papa Jesawala and Savak Kotwal were asked to look for residences in Dehradun. Papa and Savak arrived there from Mehrabad on 3 April and attached Keki Nalavala and contacted Keki Nalavala. Keki had not yet met Baba, but he had come to know about him from Keki Desai of Delhi. Keki Nalavala helped Papa and Sava look for vacant bungalows, and when they found one, they informed Baba in Quetta. Thus, the Karachi plan was canceled and preparations were made for going to Dehradun. It was decided to go as far as Lahore by train. So the blue bus and Elizabeth's car were sent there by rail. Papa and Savak were told to meet the group in Lahore, and Papa was also instructed to find and keep a boy ready for Baba to work with when he arrived in Lahore. How's that, Mona? You want a new reader?
Okay,
Shall
I
I
shall.
continue to? Oh, we're almost through with this. Okay, so 2 or 3
Yeah,
more, 2 more compared. A
yeah.
3rd-class railway compartment was reserved, and after finishing his work in Quetta, Baba left for Lahore with the entire group on Monday, 7 April 1941. After 2 scorching nights and a day on the train, traveling through the desert regions, they reached Lahore at 10 o'clock in the morning of the 9th. Papa and Nilu, who had been sent 3 days ahead, received them. Where are they going? Quetta. Back. Yeah.
Tiger clears the way. Clear any energy that's preventing you from having a
Papa,
strong, healthy immune
what's that
system.
noise?
Wonderful. You just did a little qigong practice. Now, men and women have been practicing
Mona, what's that
for 4,000 or
noise?
5,000 years. It's a practice that
I think it's, yeah.
Someone's radio.
Yeah, continue.
Okay. Papa, Papa had brought nearly 60 boys whom he had made stand at attention in a row on the railway station platform. Papa proudly told Baba, "Select whomever you like. You've no idea how difficult it was to find such fine boys." This made Baba laugh, and giving a rupee to each boy, he sent them all away. Papa asked incredulously, "Didn't you like even one?" "There's no question of liking," Baba said. "My work is over."
Thank you, Ralph.
Jai
Your work,
Baba.
Jai Baba, your work is over. How could it be over? By paying a rupee to each? Could have that done that? And it would have saved me the trouble of rounding them up and bringing them here. Smiling, Baba replied, "It's my work. How can you understand it? Strange, very strange work indeed. With so much effort, I found and brought so many boys, and you send them all back. Is this the way you work?" Again, this made Baba laugh, and he calmed down. "Don't worry, Papa. You will reap the fruit of your labor. This work was given to you solely for the purpose of allowing you to serve me." Baba did not stay in Lahore. Alighting from the train, he immediately left for Dehradun in the Buick, while the
Buick.
others, so thank you, while the others followed in the blue bus. Since Eric had been sent back to Bangalore, Papa now drove the bus with Neelu as his assistant, and Elizabeth drove the car. The other men, Mandali, proceeded to Dehradun by train with Chati Baba. On the way, Baba contacted a mast in Amritsar and two other masts in Khana. Papa was not a good driver, the worst I ever met, Neelu recorded, and there were frequent mechanical failures. More problems arose. After they fixed the bus in Ludhiana, a windstorm broke out and raised clouds of dust for more than an hour, dangerously impairing visibility. Fortunately, a few showers of rain fell and soon settled the dust. Baba and the group spent the night in the dark bungalow at Khana and reached Dehradun the next afternoon, the 10th of April. Meanwhile, at Laksar, the men Mandali had to change trains with Chati Baba, who refused to board it. The train was about to leave when Vishnu thought of this trick. He told the mast, "We are trying to take you back to your native place, but we can't if you won't board the train." The ruse worked, and Chati Baba happily climbed on board. When Baba heard of it, he laughed and joked. "Vishnu is short and does all the work of marketing and travel arrangements. But now I see that not only does he look like Napoleon and labor like Napoleon, even his brain works like Napoleon's." Reaching Dehradun, Baba occupied himself with must work. He contacted some in the town and brought some to his bungalow called Sushila Bhavan at number 1 Lakshmi Road in Dalanwala. According to a schedule on the 15th, he stopped fasting on fruits and began his fast on tea. A separate house was rented to house the mass, where Baba remained in strict seclusion for a week from the 22nd of April. During this time, he did not even see the women mandali and was fasting on only water. He worked with Chati Baba and also with Mas brought by Baidul and Papa. Baba had fasted many times more, but this month long fast considerably weakened his health. Kaka had been away for a few days and arrived on the 26th of April. Chanji, Deshmukh, and Norina came to see Baba on the 28th after their lecture tour. Chanji discussed various matters with Baba for a few hours and then returned to Bombay as instructed with Nadine, who has some work there. During the conversation, Baba appeared so weak that he could barely nod his head to give a yes or no to Chanji's questions about the work. The Mandali had never seen such an ebbing of Baba's strength. This was a very painful sight. Chanji recorded in the past. Shri has often fasted, but never have we seen such weakness. Conditions in the world are at a critical stage, Baba said. And on top of that, after 9th August 1941, he wishes to go on to into complete seclusion. Chanji elaborated in a letter to Minu Kharas dated 30th April 1941. The time, Baba means business, and although surprises as such have lost all charm for us. His seasoned disciples, we would still be surprised for anything that may happen any day, any moment, and would have a rude shock of our life. The trend of events would over and the trend of events world over and the strain of work internal which Baba is having on himself portended drastic events in the near future. It seems everything has to be shaken from its very foundation, especially things that have stuck up deep down and rigorously for years and not will need no small shock to root it all of its foundation. Let us wait and watch, Vishnu wrote to Adi Senior at this time. Baba must be working internally very hard. I've never seen him looking so run down or feeling so weak during any of his previous fasts. This time, his weakness must be due to his working very hard under the tremendous pressure of the war. Nilu also recounted during Baba's fast, especially on water, he was growing very weak. But he used to bathe and feed Chati Baba daily and attend to other things. Moreover, he used to send Baidul and Papa Jaisawala far and wide to bring him good mas, whom he used to feed and then send back. This strenuous hard work was telling upon his health. During the fast, he never took notice of my constant and repeated protests against his hard work. I had to examine his heart very frequently every day, and owing to his tendency to high blood pressure, his heart could not stand even a slight strain during his fast. But he never listened to me and went on with his work, keeping me worrying all the time.
Mhm.
His seclusion over, Baba broke his fast on Tuesday, 29th April 1941. He sat with the men until midnight on 28th, after which he gave each a teaspoon of orange juice. Afterwards, he drank 1 cup himself. For 2 days, Baba remained on fruit juice, and on the 30th, he drank some boiled spinach soup. On 1st May, Baba began eating rice and dal once a day. Dr. Daulat Singh was practicing medicine in England when he had a dream in which a disciple, Swami Bhabananda, was introduced him to his master Baba. Daulat Singh had never met either Babananda or Meher Baba. In the dream, the master urged Daulat Singh, leave England and return to India. I have connections with you. Daulat Singh followed the advice, although he did not know who the master was. Once in India, Daulat Singh and his family settled in Srinagar, where he became a successful doctor and was even elected mayor. He began searching for his guru. but in vain. One day, when he was riding on a train, a man seated next to him was reading a book. After some time, Daulat Singh casually glanced at the book. He was shocked. A picture in it was the of the same man who appeared in his dream. He asked to see the book and read the name Meher Baba Ahmednagar. At the next station, he got down and caught the first train to Ahmednagar. As soon as he arrived, he made inquiries and took a tonga to Mehrabad. Now, close to the fulfillment of all his wishes, after so many years, he rushed to ask Baba's darshan as soon as he arrived. Baba was at Mehrabad then and was informed but refused to see him. Daulat Singh tried to check himself, but his disappointment was too great to conceal. He began sobbing aloud. Am I such a sinner that Meher Baba will not see me? Is my love for him not sincere? Have I displeased him in any way? After a few minutes, he regained his composure and resolved to sit under a tree near the road until Baba granted him darshan. He remained there for 10 days without food or water. On the 10th day, Baba sent Adi Senior with instructions for Dr. Singh to return to Kashmir, travel on to Lahore, and contact Pila Mai in Karachi. Daulat Singh did as he was told and left Mehrabad with a broken heart. He contacted Pila Mai and asked her to promise to inform him as soon as Meher Baba was in the area. Weeping, he narrated his many years of searching and his recent experience at Mehrabad. Learning that Baba was in the vicinity, Daulat Singh came to Dehradun from Kashmir for Baba's darshan on the evening of 29th April 1941. It was summer in India, but Daulat Singh had been so restless to see Baba. He had come straight through on the train 850 miles from Srinagar, fainting twice in the terrific heat. Nilu tried to calm him, talking to him at length and explaining that during Baba's seclusion he was seeing no one. But Daulat Singh would not listen and said, if I don't get darshan, I will die. Nilu informed Baba and Baba permitted Daulat Singh to see him from a distance, specifying that he should not bow down to him or pay his respects in any way. Placing 6 oranges on the floor, Daulat Singh said, I have nothing more to offer you. From afar, Baba sent him word. You don't know what you have given me. Whatever you have given is too much. Depart happily and don't look back. Daulat Singh obeyed and left after talking with Norina for an hour. In those few moments, age declared, the doctor received the brand of wine which kept him intoxicated his entire life long. During this period, Kaikobad, Keki, Nalawala, 32, also came for darshan for the first time. But because of Baba's seclusion, he too was allowed to see Baba only from a distance. Baba was in his room, and when Keki stood outside to greet him, he could only see Baba's feet and nothing else. He left bitterly disappointed, but his disappointment brought him Baba's constant remembrance, which in turn brought him closer to the Master. He thought Baba would surely call him one day during his Dehradun stay, but Baba did not. Yet, by keeping Keke at a physical distance, Baba drew him inwardly near. In the hot summertime, no decent fresh vegetables were available in the market, and Ranu would complain about this to Vishnu, who did the marketing. Once Vishnu brought dried peas, taking out the peas, Ranu put them in a bottle and labeled it for stomach ache. Take one tablet every day, every hour. When Vishnu asked her for the women's shopping list the next day, Ranu handed him the bottle. Reading the label, Vishnu burst out laughing. But when Baba heard of the joke, he ordered Vishnu to take one of the tablets every hour. Even during the night, Vishnu had to get up every hour, take his peculiar medicine. One of Krishna's responsibilities was bringing the milk to Dehradun from a nearby village. One day, he slipped alongside the road and fell into the river as was swept away by the swift current. At the exact moment he was struggling for his life, Baba, who was in Dehradun, grabbed Neelu's hand, gesturing, "Be careful, you might fall down." Neelu could not understand why Baba had caught hold of his hand and said to Krishna, and said so. Krishna was rescued by some passerby when he returned to Dehradun, and this incident, the men understood the significance of Baba's remark. In the intense tropical summer heat, Baba left Dehradun for Ajmer on Saturday, 2nd May 1941, accompanied by Kaka, Baidul, and Gustaji. In Ajmer, Baba again contacted the Majub Chacha, the special Mas Lakhan Shah, and Kabir Stanwala, Socrates, and other mas. A bungalow in Ajmer, where Baba had decided to move, was rented at this time. Baba and the men returned to Dehradun on the 9th. On Monday, 12th at May at 4:30 a.m., Baba was driven to Rishikesh, 30 miles away from the foothills of the Himalayas, the famous abode of saints and sages. He went with all the women in a hired bus. Neelu, Kaka, and Vishnu accompanied them. While returning to Dehradun late at night, Baba remarked, "You have seen spiritual India with a spiritual master. Of all the places of pilgrimage in India, I like Rishikesh the best because from all parts of India, visitors and even residents are here only for meditating on God and renouncing the world. It is one of the best places in the world for spiritual atmosphere." After staying for a month, Baba left Dehradun with most of the group in the early morning of Thursday, 15th May 1941 at 5 a.m. Chati Baba, Baidul, Gustaji, Krishna, Venkoba Rao, and Vishnu went by train. Papa Jasawala was sent back to Mehrabad. Tukaram had come, and he now drove the blue bus. Elizabeth drove the car, and as usual, by the time Kaka and Neelu travelled with Baba in the car. Rosalie, would you like to read?
Mona, why don't you let maybe Pia wants to try reading a little?
No, Pia said she will not read, so
okay.
she's only listening in. I already checked with her. Rosalie or Diana can read.
Oh no,
Us,
I can't retain it. I can't. You
Okay.
keep reading. I'll have to go back and read it again. I can't. I can't absorb it. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, fine.
Somebody.
Then we
Go.
shall just end the reading
Go.
for
I
today.
mean, if y'all are good, go. You know, I'm just saying, mentioning in case anyone they. It's so much, so rich, so
Yes,
packed.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
Ralph,
right.
we are
All right.
recording it. But anyway, we shall end
Yeah,
the meeting here that today. You all can
no,
have a
it's up to you.
chat.
Do it, suit yourselves. Absolutely. Don't stop on my account. I just thought I might mention if you
No, no, I understand. I totally understand.
take a vote, see how Marvin
No,
feels,
that's fine. It's
and
okay. We'll end it here.
Diane and
Just relax,
others.
Ralph.
Yeah, yeah,
Ralph, we'll end it here.
Rosie.
Just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax. 1 second.
What's the page number?
2214. I'm just going to stop the recording.